Many years ago, the two military and economic powers of the world were in a conflict that, if steered the wrong way, could have led to a nuclear war, with each country trying to outdo the other. This was the Cold War between America and the Soviet Union, which led into the space race. The race was to achieve greater space flight capabilities and to be the main focus on the world stage. The first goal was to set up a moon base. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, which was made by Sergei Korolev, the chief Soviet rocket scientist. Sputnik was the first man-made object in space and orbit, and made officials in America worried about Russia's space prowess. In response to the Soviets' launch, America launched their own rocket, but it blew up in a big fiery explosion 2 seconds after launch. Everyone thought that the Union was now more advanced, and the Soviet Union offered assistance for struggling nations as a joke during the next United Nations. Luckily for the U.S., the military had another rocket that, when launched, was successful. This was called Explorer 1, and another one was launched 2 months later. Also in response to the Soviets' launch, President Eisenhower ordered the creation of a civilian agency for all non-military operations called NASA. All current military operations would be transferred to NASA, and the first head was von Braun. Von Braun was a Nazi scientist who created a missile called the V-2 that could travel at the speed of sound, and the first intercontinental ballistic missile. These missiles were dropped on London, killing 27,000, and at the end of World War II, both sides abducted multiple V-2 missiles and scientists due to Germany's advanced missiles. In 1959, the Soviet Union launched Luna 2 and made contact with the moon for the first time. It was a crash landing, so no data was recorded. Soviets in space would be called cosmonauts, which means sailor of the universe in Greek, and astronaut means sailor of the stars. The first human in space was Yuri Gagarin in the Soviet Vostok program. The capsule was controlled by a computer because no one knew what would happen to a human in space. If the capsule's computer were to fail, he would use a code to turn on manual control. In 1962, John F. Kennedy gave a speech setting the goal for both sides of the race by challenging America to get a man on the moon and return him safely by the end of the 1960s. America increased their budget by 500% to match this goal, and the Soviet Union had to take a lot from other departments to match it. It took a lot of work, and Apollo 8 was able to complete a manned orbit around the moon for the first time, and Apollo 11 landed Neil Armstrong on the moon and returned him safely, achieving Kennedy's goal. Some people think that the race ended with Apollo 11, but I think it ended when the leaders of both countries agreed to a joint mission on July 15, 1975. The two-country spacecrafts connected in space, and the famous handshake in space occurred, marking the end. For more information, visit my blog.